everyone. How good was that? I'm Meg Masters. Thank you guys so much for coming out to support Nikita today. It's their final Comic-Con panel, which is really sad, but we're going to make it really good. It's been such a treat to cover this show for the past couple of years, and I'm not going to waste time, though, with big cast introductions because we want all the time for my questions and for yours, of course. So let's start. We're going to bring out first Mr. Craig Silverstein, who's obviously the man responsible for all of this. Next up, the man you know as Ryan, Noah Bean. And of course, Melinda Clark. Aaron Stanford Burkhoff. Of course, Alex, Lyndsy Fonseca. One half of Nikita, Mr. Shane West. And last but not least, Maggie Q.
I love you too. Thanks for coming. All
right. So just kind of start off kind of going down the line, or whoever wants to hop in. How are you guys feeling? This is your last panel. It's sort of the beginning of the end. And you go into production, I think, this week. So it's got to kind of be setting in a little bit by now. Anyone?
Yeah, it's great. It's bittersweet. I'm just glad that we're able to end it, bring it to a full close, as opposed to just leaving it where it was, or have to play that game where you're bringing it to a conclusion, but maybe you're going to keep going. So knowing that it's going to finish lets us end it with a period, or hopefully exclamation mark. So, yeah.
Not a question.
Frowny face, no.
And for the actors, I mean, it's been your life for the past 4 seasons. What's the feeling going into this last season?
No more flying.
What did I say?
Melinda's got a daughter, so she had to fly a lot back and forth.
Lots of miles.
Yeah. Lots of free flights.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I mean, when I found out about The Last Order, I mean, my initial reaction was really nothing to do with the show. Everything to do with my emotion about these people, our crew, and what we built, this family that we've built over the past, 3.5, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a long time. And my heart hurt. It hurt because I have a very deep love for them, and I'm gonna miss them. And then I got over it and realized I don't really like them. But for me, I think, like Craig was saying, it's one of those things where we get to end this show with such an integrity and with our heads high, because it's not one of those things that I've never been on TV, but I didn't want it to drag out and be that thing where you're like, okay, you're running, Nikita, we get it, you beat people up. I didn't want it to be that. I want it to go out and have everybody sort of feel like, full but still a little hungry. So hopefully that'll happen.
Now this one's probably more for Craig, but I've heard a lot from fans that they're very concerned that 6 episodes isn't enough time to wrap up the series. But I think there's some pros to it, I think you've said. What can you say about sort of having this smaller batch of episodes to wrap things up with?
I think what it means is you get right to the good stuff, that you don't have that slower build-up, and the way that the end of our seasons kind of ramp up really fast and things are happening one after the other. That's how we're going to start this season, right in the middle of it, and kind of not take our foot off the pedal until the end. So that's a bonus, I think.
Yeah.
Doing it that way.
Maggie, where we left off, Nikita's sort of gone in this weird full circle. It's not a good full circle, but she's sort of back out on her own. Michael's chasing her again. Are you kind of excited to delve back in and go back to playing that same dynamic, but with a twist?
I am. I also want, it's so funny because I got so many how could you do that to him? and I was like, out of love. It was one of those things, and I think we're gonna open. Like Craig said, we don't have to build to anything. It's sort of like we'll just get into it. And in the first script, when Nikita sees Michael again, it's like, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, it was a weird way to leave it, but, you know, it was a decision made, you know, purely out of love. And so, you know, I want to get into that right away. And I want to get into the fact that, you know, obviously, you know, she left because she really, really loved this man. And that was what that was about.
And Shane, Michael had a really difficult season last year. Now he kind of was back in a good place, and then now probably not so much. I mean, what does this do to him when we pick up?
Michael may have gone dark again, especially after the end of season 3. But it's going to be a really fun dynamic to play, and in a smaller amount of time with the 6 episodes. But it just means it's even more important. And you know, I don't think he's always going to worry, and he's always going to love Nikita, and I think that this is going to truly put their relationship to a test of where it could even possibly go at the beginning of this season and towards the end of it as well.
Lyndsy, I don't think there's any character, especially on Nikita, I can't think of any on other shows that's gone through so much heartache since the beginning of a series. Can you talk about her evolution a little bit and kind of where we're going to see her at the start of the season?
Sure. I mean, yeah, Alex has been through a lot. I mean, when we first met her, she was so young and in such a delicate place. But yeah, she's been through a lot. But it's kind of exciting because this year, like we ended last year, that kind of question of, what do I do? What does Alex do with her life? She doesn't have to hide from anyone. She is a real person and has a, you know, public persona, and so she's going to take advantage of that. But it's going to be a tricky balance to do that during the day and play spy at night. So,
what does, I mean, this might be for everyone too, but what does Division as it is, or the group that kind of made up Division, look like without Nikita at the start of the season? Sort of all of you without her, even though she's kind of been the glue that kept you all together over the past 4 seasons. That might be more for Craig.
We're all kind of together, but split off.
Yeah.
What? Well, they're, you know,
Craig was looking at the screen.
Their base this time, their lair is an airplane, which is
doesn't stop.
Badass. And that means that they can kind of be in different places around the globe and be in contact, and then, you know, we can deal with how they get together.
Oh, the plane flies? I thought it was like...
No, it flies.
Oh, I thought it was abandoned.
No, it's in the air.
I thought it was just like, you know, it had weeds all over it, and it was just...
Yeah, no, I think it's in the air, and it's going to, like, we're building it, and it's going to shake, and, you know.
That's a great way to solve that problem.
I know. It's all, you know what it was? We didn't want to go back to, like, we did the lair, which we're never going to top. We're never going to top Nikita's lair for the first season. And we kind of knew that, like, set-wise. And so then they had the beach house. That was all right. Falling Waters. They all get destroyed. Division was their lair last season. And so we couldn't go back to, like, a hideout again. And so we're going to be in the sky.
That's so cool. I'm glad I don't have to be there, though.
Yeah, you'll be
Not
there.
really an office person.
Yeah.
Ryan gets really airsick, though, which is the problem.
Ryan's going to be vomiting the whole show.
Yes.
Noah, kind of speaking about Ryan, he started as this guy we'd see every once in a while in a few episodes. He had some fun interactions with Nikita, but you've just become such a crucial part of the show. You folded in so well early on. Can you talk about kind of his evolution? I mean, he became a little Percy-esque last season, and that was very different than what we'd seen in years past.
Yeah, I guess Ryan was kind of flirting with a little bit of Percy-esque, and I think I heard some, you know, there was chatter about whether Ryan in season 3 was going to kind of be like an origin story of Percy, but you know, I think they're very different guys, and I think that Ryan, he was in maybe a little over his head, and but he still kept his core values. I think, you know, this is a guy who really did believe in right and wrong, and I think that's how he kind of hit it off with Nikita early on, as they shared a bit of the same sensibility. I think Nikita may have been a little bit more extreme than Ryan, but yeah, you know, and I think ultimately he realized the power of Division too. That this, and I think we've always talked about that Division kind of felt like another character on the show. That the place itself, the mythology, even the architecture of that place felt like a person, and we were obviously battling with that person a lot, and realized that we couldn't change that person, and that was the danger I think that Ryan was up against throughout all last season, and just trying to deal with, it was like herding cats, trying to be the boss of these crazy assassins.
Hurting cats?
Herding cats.
Oh.
Not hurt. I would never hurt
If
a
you
cat.
hurt a cat, dude.
I know
Let's
we
get
have a
that
lot
straight.
of animal rights
Dude, if you hurt a
activists
cat,
here. Okay.
Your ass is dead.
Yeah, I would never harm a cat.
Don't even think about harming a cat.
No.
I
my
will.
presence.
I'll
No,
hurt
Ryan-
a cat.
Yeah.
Amanda.
Amanda or Melinda? Yeah.
I guess on that note, for Melinda, who had hurt a cat,
Meg's upset too.
I'm really upset about this. Where do I even begin with you? I mean, Amanda is,
Why say you? This is not
well,
me.
yes, you're right, Amanda. I mean, she's just had 9 lives.
Yeah.
You can't destroy her. She is pure evil, I think, at this point.
You think?
I do. How do you, I mean, that's been such an evolution. I was watching early episodes, and was bad at first, but you didn't quite know what her motives were. And then she just became this villain.
Yeah, I think Craig would say the same thing. Purposely kept her enigmatic, and we clearly peeled away the layers of the stinky onion that she ended up being. But this character always somewhat befuddled me. I never quite knew what the true motivation was in the first couple seasons, but I always tried to ground her in some kind of misguided, effed up, 18 years of age, love. And of course, ultimately we did learn that it ultimately was this betrayal of love from her father, and then that theme carried through with Nikita, this absolute mission to destroy her and teach her a lesson. And I guess I understand somewhat what she's motivated by, and of course now, I guess is the technology that her father was developing, is that something that she's carried with her and we're using?
I think the idea of transforming people and manipulating people and creating people like she did at Division is going to be taken that much further, and that's what she's going to be doing. But you're right, Megan's like, she is too evil to destroy. Like, literally, our plan was to kill Amanda at the end of the last season. Like, up until almost the end, it was like she was dead, and then she literally, like, something happened and we could not kill her. She survived everything we had up on the board.
Amanda
and
got
everything.
so interesting in the 3rd season, like so interesting. You ended up, for me, becoming one of the most interesting characters in the series, just because it just got so textured and weird.
Yeah. And that episode, we were all confused.
She was great.
We
like,
were. Oh, thanks. There we
beyond.
Keep going. Yeah.
I mean, you're really ugly, but you're talented.
But I think we were the episode where we actually Amanda takes Nikita into Amanda's childhood.
Oof.
We were also concerned about whether or not the audience would get it, and I think the network was really
We thought y'all were dumb.
No,
we were like, oh, they're not gonna get it.
But the network was concerned about the audience getting it, and it worked.
No,
it
we
really
were
worked.
actually concerned. I'm kidding. We were concerned. We were sort of like, are they gonna get how weird this is? And sometimes I think, to Craig's credit, like, if it's weird enough, if it's so weird that you can bear, you'll get it.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. You gotta go all the way with the weird.
It was such a great twist, though, that Amanda ended up being actually Helen, and Helen became
So
Amanda.
good.
And the acid wash jeans and the
and
80s outfit you
and
were
the
wearing.
shoulder pads.
That was my
You guys,
highlight.
we sewed that stuff and we put shoulder pads. We sewed them in extra ones so that the shoulders were like up to here. It was fab.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
16 candles.
Craig, while you're on the topic, is this something that Amanda's going to be able to kind of carry into the last season? Is she the big bad, essentially, or will she maybe find her demise?
She's definitely the big bad, and it's sort of Nikita dealing with that and then realizing that she's displacing. Nikita's trying to take everything that's dark inside of her and think that she can exorcise it by getting rid of Amanda and stopping Amanda. And part of that's true, and then part of that is that there's a darkness in Nikita that she needs to deal with on her own. And so she's the big bad, and so is Nikita in a way, like, her own worst enemy type of thing.
Don't kill Nikita or Amanda.
Yeah, which
Aaron, I think Burkoff is definitely like a fan favorite. And I think that was probably,
Thank you.
You just went from the nerd in the beginning of the series to you're kind of the glue, because every mission that they do, they kind of need your input, they need your technology, they need all of that. And you kind of bring everyone back together. Did you ever expect the character to go in that direction when you joined the series early on?
No, I mean, no. He's had a very interesting arc, and people who remember in the very beginning, he started off as this very sort of childish, amoral narcissist. Like he was kind of a bad guy, and gradually over time, you've seen him become. A much bigger person, and he's grown up. He's kind of become an adult over the course of the show, and it's been great to realize. And yeah, I think he is sort of the, in a way, he's like the glue of the group.
You even got a love interest last season.
I even got a love interest. Yeah. I think I deserved it.
You did.
Yeah, nerds got to get laid too, right?
Yeah. I think everybody here can agree with that.
Shirt.
I mean, this is the room that's going to support you. I think also, I just want to add that, Aaron's character is the glue because, obviously, like Meg was saying, he's an integral, but he is really the leader when it comes to missions and all of that, and he is the glue that holds that together in the technology world. But the reason why he is the glue is because he's so damn good. Like, so damn good, so talented, and so like you bring it together because of how you play him and what you brought to life for him, and that's hard to do when you've got like Nikita, and then you've got Alex, and you've got the big bad Amanda, and you've got, you know what I mean, and you shine no matter what, and it's crazy.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
So Craig, what can you say about the final season regarding full circle storytelling? Are you going to try to tie things back to early in the series regarding characters or storylines, or what's the sort of tone in these last few episodes?
I think it's sort of the final fight. There is some return to the origin. I think for Nikita, there's a return to her origins even before Division, before Carla Bennett, before all that stuff. Some stuff we haven't seen before. Like what was she like? Where did this all start for her? Was it somewhere before Division? And as opposed to like, it's not really going to be a tour though of kind of greatest hits of things that we did in season 1, or 2. There might be some nods to it, but it's pretty much new stuff.
New young stuff.
New what?
New young stuff. Like
new young stuff,
like new stuff that's, would you say, pre Carla Bennett, pre?
Oh yeah, just like her, issues that she has, about being abandoned, and about being, that kind of stuff, the stuff that led her to commit the crime she committed in the first place, that got her on Division's radar.
So issues.
We're
just gonna have a private conversation on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the writers sort of developed the story, obviously, but for you guys, you've sort of, you are very fond of your characters. You've played them for years now. Is there anything you'd like to see them achieve or do before the end of the series?
That's a good question for Alex, actually.
I know, I was just thinking there's so many things that I feel like she would want to come to amends with, but there's too many things. I think that...
You're kind of doing it.
Yeah, I feel like there's like it's the beginning of that. It's like the beginning of her taking control of her own life. And, with the help of everyone here, she's able to do that now and, just experience through this whole thing. But I think that there's a lot of those loose ends that I feel like this is the year for that.
Anyone else?
I'd like to know Michael's last name.
I'd like Michael
That's
to
it, that's
smile.
all.
You guys buy the.
Maybe
if
he'll
you guys
smile.
look at the.
I'd like him to crack a smile once.
The season 3 DVD in the extras in some of the cut scenes, in deleted scenes, Michael's last name is revealed.
Is that serious?
Yeah.
Oh. So now you don't want anything out of the last season. You don't want anything out of the last season?
No, of course. That's absolutely
Just
it.
that.
I've been dying for 3 years. No, I mean, I'm. It's just going to be exciting. I mean, it is a small amount. It is 6 episodes, but it's going to be an exciting time to see how everyone's stories come to a conclusion. And I'm obviously very excited to see where Nikita and Michael go as well, and what can be accomplished in those 6 episodes.
We'll open to fan questions pretty soon if you guys want to start lining up. The Alex and Nikita dynamic is such a fan fave. What can we expect out of that, just given that they're so separated in the start of this last season?
We both like to crack. Craig?
I think you're going to have to wait to the later episodes, later, for
That's the answer.
for that stuff to start coming back together again.
Once they do, will people enjoy that dynamic?
Sure. Yeah, I hope so.
Can you guys just, in kind of closing my question segment, talk about maybe some favorite moments or things that stand out since you guys shot the pilot?
You know what I really like that I hope people will see is the blooper reel for the season 3, on the season 3 DVD. Is that out yet?
No, in a month or so.
October comes out.
I
October.
love that. The blooper reel just kind of, I feel like, what?
No.
Yeah, it shows like, you know.
When is it out?
But seriously, the blooper reel, like the favorite moments from you mean like favorite episodes?
Just anyone, I mean, for your character, for, an episode, anything that kind of stands out in the series history.
Yeah.
So much.
One of my favorites this season was when Krieg actually gets Amanda and Nikita tied up, and the camera opens on Nikita like this, and she looks over, and Amanda's sitting there like Anthony Michael Hall, like going, this is a nice reunion.
That did not turn into a comedy.
It
we were both
did.
tied to a chair.
And it turned
most
into a
powerful
comedy.
Villains in a show. And we were just tied to a chair, and we were just kind of looking at each other.
Yeah,
And we
but-
couldn't stop laughing. We could not stop
But
laughing.
it was funny because it was like, oh, I get it. You're going to do this, and it'll combust, and the door will go, and you'll start a fire, and we'll get out. And she's like, no, I just start a fire. And I was like, what?
No, I just hope someone calls the fire department. That's my plan.
And then
That's
you
my
kind
big
of all of a
plan.
sudden see this like mother-daughter-sister relationship that's like where they're. Yeah, I like that.
We had
So more
fun in the third
more
season,
comedy.
didn't we, Melinda?
Anyone else?
I mean,
Sam was cool. I liked getting Owen's.
Yeah.
Right?
Devin Sawa.
Yeah. It was such a fascinating thing to have this dual personality. They're both kind of dark guys, I guess, but
Yeah, but Sam's really, dark.
Sam's even darker.
Yeah.
Right? That was, I found that really fun and exciting.
I like being tied up by him.
I love that scene. I love the Melinda torturing Aaron. It's one of my
Oh, when she hits his hand?
Oh yeah.
and sticks the thing up his thing.
120 words per second.
Yeah.
Now 60.
I should ask about Owen Sam since Devin couldn't be here. What can you say about that? He was definitely separated from the group by the end of the season. Can we expect to see him come back into the fold?
Yeah, he comes back into the fold. Owen's a wild card. Sam is even more so. There's no reason for him to be with them, except for he still wants revenge on Amanda for turning him into Owen for 10 years and turning him into kind of this, what he thinks is like a dope, for 10 years. And so there's certain things that bring him back into the orbit of the team, but he's a very volatile sort of element to have along.
All right, you guys, let's open it to questions.
Hi, Maggie. I'm a huge fan from your Three King the Resurrected Dragon, and your action against protest for refusing to play because of the costume, animal props, the skin.
Oh, when was that?
I don't remember, but I remember your reaction was like you refused to play the movie because of they used the animal skin,
Yeah.
animal skin in
Yeah.
previews. So
Yeah.
I really respect that.
Thank you.
So this is a question for all the cast. What was it like to work with Isaiah Mustafa, the guy, Old Spice guy?
Oh, the Old Spice dude?
Might be here.
By the way, I said, do you get sick of that? And to his credit, he goes, girl, no, that's why I'm here. He gets it. He's like, Old Spice made my life.
And
He is
let me
so
tell you, he smelled
charming.
fresh as a daisy.
No, he is like
It was a pleasure, real pleasure.
right? Charming and funny, like exactly. He's that guy.
But
Yeah.
he was. I remember when I first met him. He's actually just so kind and so
Yeah.
polite and very. He doesn't quite have that Old Spice voice.
No,
But
he kinda does.
I did a double take after we'd been working together for a couple of hours, and I finally went, that's the Old Spice guy. But it was like because he. It took me a few minutes to figure it
It
out.
was a tip-off. He showed up on a horse for his first day. So you're like, wait a minute, without a shirt on, and then the horse turned into a boat.
The women on set were not upset that Isaiah was on our show.
Shirtless in every scene. Yeah.
Craig, just kind of playing off of that, will we see returning characters like that in this last batch, or any new faces coming in?
Yeah, there's new faces, for sure. And we want to get Cyrus back. We'd love to have Ramon back from the second season. We're trying to get some of those people back in, but it's may not be. We're still trying to figure it out. Yeah. I don't want to promise it and then like Cyrus is coming back and then he doesn't. That would suck.
Next question.
My question's kind of a joint question for Maggie and Lyndsy. With it being the final season, how do you feel about such a hurried wrap-up of the power struggle between Nikita and Alex?
A hurried wrap up? Is that what you said? I don't know if there's a power struggle. I think that they're just kind of, Nikita left and went her own way. So I feel like the gang is just trying to clear her name and find her and make everything okay again. I mean, she is the most wanted woman in the world. So, I mean, that's really the top priority. And then Alex's side thing is that she's trying to, get all of these human traffickers down and these, big organizations that do that. So they're kind of like two different things, but I really don't know how it's going to end, so I don't know.
I know. I don't really know. I understand what you're saying, though, like that, the sort of latter half of the third season was a bit of a, they were not seeing eye to eye. Their sort of core values were different. Alex wanted one thing and Nikita wanted another. I mean, I think essentially at the end of the day, they both wanted the same thing, but going about it was very different. And so that created that sort of, whatever. And the thing that happens with family, that happens with, that sort of dynamic, that sisterly thing, and that, teacher-student dynamic too. One day the student's like, hey, I think you're doing this is wrong, or it should be like this, or whatever. And the irony is that you teach them everything they know, and then they're like, you're wrong. And you're like, oh, okay. So it sort of was that, it did. You're right. I mean, it did go up and down at the end, but I think by the end of the season, I think they were all on the same page, and it was just a sad thing that they had to part ways.
Hello. I just wanted to say thank you for a fabulous series. Thank you so much for all of that. And it's been a fabulous 4 years. Maggie, also a shout out for my sister Lauren Jones, PMK. She's been so ecstatic to work with you all these years. But my question is mainly for, I guess, Melinda and Craig, if in these wrap-up episodes, if there'll be any emotional diving back into Amanda's childhood or any emotional ties with Amanda's childhood and Nikita.
Yeah, I think that's going to come into play. Amanda, and she's doing what she's doing because of essentially what her father did to her. She is somebody who doesn't exist. I mean, Helen was never, there was no birth certificate or anything like that, and so she's somebody who's always trying to define herself, and so that works into the way that she's trying to define Nikita for framing her as the assassin, of the president, turning her into, as Lyndsy said, the most wanted woman in the world, and taking her from anonymous to notorious. is her way to kind of almost see what happens to Nikita, and then maybe.
Yeah, that was a great line.
Yeah.
Ruth, Oswald, Nikita.
Yeah.
That kind of sums it up.
Hello, Colin. Big fan of the show. Been watching it for years. Been trying to get everybody I know to watch the show. You guys are one of the best written shows on television. So mad props to you guys. It's a little bittersweet. You guys are gonna be off air soon. And specifically, I want to be mad. Shout out to the villains. You guys have the best villains on television. Like, I hate Amanda and I hate Percy. Like, horrible people. But I love watching them. So my question is twofold. I guess first is there any chance that we're going to see Percy even in flashbacks back in the final season? Because that would be completely awesome. And then second, we live in an era where like shows don't really go away. Is there a balloon out there that you might end up on a Netflix, a Hulu, or something else?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's said anything like that, so I don't know. But yeah, Xander, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
At least for an episode.
A whole flashback, Xander flashback. I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Producer credit.
Next question.
Hi, my husband and I are a big fan of Nikita. In fact, he told me to say hi to Maggie Q.
Hi.
He loved Nikita because he couldn't get the.
Oh, he couldn't
ticket.
come?
He couldn't get the ticket.
Girl, why don't you call me?
Oh, okay. And this is probably a question for Craig. When you said question mark, I was so happy. Probably, in 2-3 years, Nikita will be back. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what? There was a Nikita show before, and there's a Nikita show now, and she's a hard gal to keep down. So I don't know. But yeah.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Just wanted to start off by saying I'm a huge fan of the Nikitaverse. Everything from Luke Besson's original La Femme Nikita all the way to the American remake with Bridget Fonda, Point of No Return.
Mm-hmm.
So my question can probably be best answered by either Craig Silverstein or the guy that arrived on Dorknado himself, Mr. Aaron Stanford. This has always been a thorn on my side since season 1. How did you guys get the technical research for some of the stuff that you guys do on the show? Like, for example, when Burkhoff's character initiated a phone call with Madeline Pierce, I, paused the DVR and realized that you guys had IP addresses that extended subnets that just technically wasn't possible.
Dude.
I mean,
Dude.
Come on, Aaron, answer that.
Yeah, Aaron. How'd you do that?
That's all on me.
Hey, Ron.
I come in and just wing it, and they're like, it sounds technical, so I just let them do it.
Make it look effortless.
Hello. Forgive me if my voice is shaking, but the air conditioning is freezing me.
Oh my God, tell me about it. You wanna wear this?
First of all, thank you all so much for 3 great seasons. It was just amazing, and I came into the show late. Somebody introduced me to it, and it was the best thing. I'm so glad that I got to enjoy 3 great seasons with all of you. My question is for Lyndsy Fonseca. Forgive me, it's a little weird seeing you without hearing Bob Saget's voice in the background going, "Kids, this is the story of how your Aunt Robin joined Division,"
I couldn't hear that last part. What'd you say?
Oh, kids, this is the story of how Aunt Robin joined Division.
Yeah.
My question is, well, now that Alex is a free agent, what's going on with Owen?
Oh, that kind of free agent.
I will say that they do meet in the first episode of season 4. What?
That's it?
Who knows what that means?
It's not Owen, though. It's Sam.
That is suggestive.
Lucky guy.
I'm shaking. You guys are just so incredibly
From the cold?
good looking.
From the cold?
It's just cold, yeah.
You guys are stunning. Anyway. If I could get my question together here. Now that the show has wrapped up, can you tell us, all of you, what sort of projects you have down the line or plans?
Well, it hasn't wrapped up yet.
We're a little busy for the next few months.
We're just starting work on Monday for season 4. Yeah.
Maggie did a movie though.
Maggie.
What's up with that?
Thanks, Craig. That's a great plug. I just finished a film, and then I think we're gonna do another one really soon. So, you know, good thing I'm free.
You gotta have the time. You have the time now.
That worked out. That was weird. Shane, what are you doing, Shane?
I am nothing. I'm gonna worry about finishing this show, and I'm actually working on writing one as well. It's actually been written, and so now we're gonna see what we can do with it that has something to do with the comic book that I was working with for USA Today. So we'll see what goes with that.
Cool.
I'll give you guys a little piece of advice. Never ask an actor what they're doing next.
We hate it.
That's the goblin that haunts our dreams. It's hard to work in this business. So we're finishing up this gig, and then most of us are hoping to get another job after that.
It will not be hard for any of
That's where we're at.
you.
That is the truth.
Yep. Next one.
Hi. Lyndsy, you're so pretty. Well, for all the cast, what are you gonna miss most about coming to the conventions and being with fans? What is it that you miss the most? Either the questions, the autographs, or just like being around people? I don't know.
I don't know, I guess I was kind of just like, oh, this is the last Comic-Con, but, you know, it's not. I'm sure we'll all be back, but the last one for all of us together. And I wasn't really sad until I actually started meeting you guys and you guys saying, I'll miss you next year. And so then I got kind of sad. So I'll probably just miss that. You guys have been so good to us every year. This is our 4th year here, and we've just gotten so much love and support. So I think that will be missed.
Hi, my name's Amanda, and I just want to say, Maggie, thank you so much for bringing.
First of all, your name's Amanda, so.
Thanks for bringing such strength to this character and for representing us Asian American girls on TV.
Girl.
My question is for the whole cast. What's one of the most emotional moments that you're going to cherish and take away from the series?
I mean, I think for myself was that even though this is a type of show that has them in every episode practically, but I think for me at the end of season 1, for Michael quitting Division, giving it up for the love he had for Nikita, and showing up in the lair again and being so vulnerable, that was like one of the most emotional things for me, and it was such a fun scene to shoot too.
It was. It really was. We felt it that day. We were very sort of like, finally.
And it was towards the end too. That was a moment that culminated in 22 episodes. That was just, I don't know. So it was very passionate and it was exciting, and it kind of led to what happened for the next couple of seasons. For me, that's all I'm saying.
Anyone else?
Emotional?
Or just funny.
Yeah. I think it was when, I don't know.
Percy, you and Percy in season 2, a little bit?
Oh, yeah, she did get her feelings hurt a little bit, didn't she? Yeah, I actually had my own little backstory when it came to Percy and Amanda. And he was the one person that was able to really just get her where it hurt. And he called me a lapdog, and that hurt. So yeah, she had tears from that. So.
Next question.
Hi, I'm T. I'm from Toronto. I've been dying to meet you guys for the past 3 years.
You had to come all the way here
I had to come here to see you guys.
It's weird.
We'll be there next week.
Yeah, we'll see you there next week.
I just wanted to ask, because you guys seem to have lots of fun behind the scenes. Any favorite moments that you guys want to share from off screen?
Everyone's just on their phone the whole time.
We don't actually talk to each other.
Tweeting and
See those
texting.
photos.
Well, Devin's tweeting.
Yeah, yes, that's for sure.
One of my favorite things about the behind the scenes of Nikita is all the dogs. All the dogs. Between Maggie's dogs.
We just all own animals. We're all animal freaks. And Lyndsy and I will sit there and go, look at this picture of this dog.
We'll just talk about
dogs we don't even know.
Like, we'll
look at this
just,
picture.
We'll pull up pictures of dogs and just talk
Look
for
at
like
this
an
video.
hour about dogs. So.
It's like, we're 12. It's awesome.
ridiculous.
Shane's Snuggie and Cocoa parties every Saturday night. I'm really gonna miss those.
Those were exciting, right?
Yeah.
It really makes it feel like home.
Well, it is
does.
cold.
Yeah.
Cold winter nights.
Snuggies. What? I think you mixed that up with Dylan Casey. I think
Oh,
was
right,
the
that was
Sean
Dylan,
Pierce
sorry,
parties. Yeah.
It was fun to just finally shoot a gun. So I was in division
Oh,
all the
for
time.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This year I was like, yeah, finally. Sorry. You had that too, didn't you? A couple times?
Yeah.
This guy holding machine guns is like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my God, it's so cute.
The next day he's like, I'm so sore.
That's fiction. When did I say I was sore?
You said you were sore from that day of shooting.
No way. I live for it.
He's like, I wasn't sore.
Don't say that.
Ready for action at all times.
Go ahead.
Hi, my question is in regards to the relationship between Michael and Nikita. You guys like totally sizzle. Oh, it's amazing to watch because the feeling seems so apparent, but yet the emotion seems to go so deep, but yet it's also really, really hot at the same time.
That's a hell of a summary right there. Yeah.
Last year, there was a question in regards to a shower scene. I just want to see Shane West with less on.
First of all, oh my God. First of all, thank you for saying that because we actually hate each other. We did the shower scene,
Yes,
first
we
of
did.
all. And the best part, remember? Wait. So
Tell
we
me.
did the shower scene. So Craig was like, we're going to do the shower scene or whatever. It's because somebody said it was a joke, and then he had to do it because we said we would. So we just did this quick little thing. But the shower curtain was somewhat see-through. You know, it was one of those like kaleidoscope looking. It's clear, but it's got those circles on it, so you can see, but you can't see. And so we both had to be in nude. We both had to be in nude underwear. So it looked like we were showering. And I was in nude. And he looked like a Ken doll because he had, not because he has no penis.
Thank God we didn't get that shot. But that
because he
too.
was wearing those tight bike shorts, but they were skin colored. And I came in the shower and I was like, ew! And it was, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, so we didn't know how it was gonna happen. And they turned the water on there. It's warm. It's fine. We're like, okay, good. This is warm. And we did the shower scene. And then when it got wet, our nude stuff was totally see-through. We were like, oh my God! We were dying. Your thing was totally see-through.
That was, yeah.
I was like, Shane,
I was behind you.
I was behind you.
Your junk's out.
There's no more Ken doll.
So I'll just send you a mental picture from my head of that day, and you'll be fine.
There you go.
Remember? That was
I'm not going to forget. It's not going to forget.
so hard.
Go ahead.
Oh, I have a question. The question to the entire cast. What was your favorite episode you guys worked on?
No, you should start.
Gosh. I guess my favorite would maybe be Dark Matter, the first episode that I ever did, which was about halfway through season 1.
Yep. Episode 110. We call it the 110. At least Carlos Cotto does. He always refers to it as the 110.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was, I thought it was a great episode. I mean, it was nice to be in it, and, and it was great. I can't believe I'm still alive. I mean, usually I die on every show that I'm on, and especially a show like this. I'm shocked that I'm still here. So
I knew you were going to be awesome in this show. The reason you survived so long is because one of the first lines you had to deliver was, describing division, you had to say, "These guys are like the dark matter of the universe. They fill all the empty spaces." And we're like, I don't know if any actor can actually say this line. It's really cheesy, and you just nailed it and made it so believable. And so
he's so
like,
earnest. Everything he says, you believe.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, and he's talented.
So that Snuggie stuff is true. What about you, Melinda? Favorite app?
Rain of Fire, I think this year for me was just, not only did Maggie and I laugh our asses off during it, but just seriously.
You were so good in it.
But I like I said, thank you, and you too. But no, seriously, I had this moment. I'm like, I finally get to like shoot guns and do a fight scene and then the fire was scary, and we got to get picked up by real firemen. Bucket list.
It was so fun.
So
remember? And then she got my move. I was like, oh my gosh, hot firemen. And then they came in.
And I was like,
will you throw me over your shoulder? You know how they throw you over? I wanted to be on their shoulder, and then I just got dragged, and she got thrown over.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get to say that. Yeah, and then she gets to go, I'm so much worse than all you bitches put together.
That was great.
And it worked. Really.
Yeah, it worked.
But no, that was fun.
That's a hard line, too.
That whole thing was just, it just reminded me, it was just so what Hollywood is about, because we had the fire and the action and all. It was just, and that, you do that all the time. So for me, that was kind of
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Shadow Walker episode was probably named after me, so yeah, that's been my favorite. I had a lot to do there and tons of fun, and he gets to kind of like, go out in the field for one of the first times, and then breaks off from the group, goes off on his own, comes back, saves the day, saves Nikita. It was a good episode all around.
Craig, the one where Vladimir came in.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was called Alexandra. You guys like the episodes named after you.
I know, we're such conceited actors. I liked that one because she I think that was the moment she finally said, "I am Alexandra Udinov," and it just had some sort of like cool power. When I said it, everything just kind of made sense for Alex. So I liked that episode a lot. Thanks, Craig.
It's really hard to pick. I mean, one of my favorite episodes, I think, would be the finale of season 2, of being able to see Percy and Nikita's relationship come to an amazing end, and Roan, who was such a great character, him going down as well. I mean, that was just one of the most exciting episodes, I think, for me. Yeah, Rob Stewart was amazing.
Yeah, he was amazing. Such a good villain.
Maggie.
Oh. My moment was, because he's here too, so I can talk about it. Albert Kim, one of our writers, is sitting over there with his kids, and
woo!
Yeah, Albert Kim is like, he's the man. He really is, and like, Albert and I have always been friends, and we've always gotten along very well. But when he wrote Wrath, I called him. Well, first of all, after I read it, and I was like, Albert. And I said to him, I remember, and it happened, but I said to him when I first got the script, I was like, I really need you to be my friend on this episode. Like, I need your friendship, because I don't know if I can do this without you. And he was like, okay, I'm here, let's do it. And it was such a hard episode, and we were so emotionally drained. Remember, Albie? And it was just, but I remember leaning on each other in that way, and having that close relationship with the writers that we have was, I couldn't, without you, I wouldn't have. I love you. It was great. I'll never forget it.
We have one more question.
Love to all of you guys, first of all, but real quickly, Noah, I'm wondering how soon after the audition process you were streamlined and kind of brought into the inner circle, because when you think analyst, you don't really think tough guy or anything like that. So I'm wondering, no offense, I'm just saying, you don't think that. So I'm wondering, how soon did they bring you full circle to let you know, oh, this is going to be more than just paper pushing?
I guess it was, I think when I first auditioned for it, I remember actually I made it my audition. I was doing a play in Boston at the Huntington Theater. I was doing William Inge's Bus Stop, and made an audition tape with the assistant stage manager in my dressing room in the bowels of the theater, and booked the job amazingly. And I think it was supposed to be like 5 episodes or something in season 1, and they kept me alive, and Ryan started to build, and I think I think a lot of it was thanks to Maggie. She was so great to work with in that season 1, which is what I was mostly with Nikita, and it was such a pleasure, and we had such a good time, and I think you could see some potential in Ryan and being a part of the team, and then I showed up, started to pop up in season 2. You did kill me in season 2, but it was a fake death. And then, and then towards the end of that's when I think I was invited to come and spend a little more time with the gang in season 3. But it's been an incredible run. I mean, I feel really blessed and honored to have spent all this time here and to become part of Team Nikita and get to work with these wonderful people and say these wonderful words. But yeah, does that answer your question at all? I guess that was.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, on that note, that's all we have time for. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys so much for 4 years.